There we go. And hello, everyone and no one, and welcome to another Rotten Movie Reviews. And all I can say so far is, holy fuck. So we're gonna get straight into the introductions and everything. And with me, as always, is Tier Alexander. Tier, how you doing?
I feel dirty and I need to cleanse.
With us as well is Angela. Angela, how you doing?
Broken. Very broken.
That's kind of general consensus. James, how you doing? Since he's here.
Fucking fabulous.
And then the collective in disguise, Will It Forge, not Wicket Forge. How you doing tonight, Will?
Not Wicked Forge. I've got my rum and Coke. So hopefully I'll make it through this.
Okay, so today we watched the 1999 film 8 starring Nicolas Cage. And I am going to reiterate something. The fucking casts from the 90s are some of the biggest stars currently.
Yes.
For the last time, you're not dirty, you're just black. I mean, Nicholas.
Take your hands over. You're still my part.
Nicholas Cage. It's like, okay, so we got Nicolas Cage, James Gandolfini, Joaquin Phoenix, Peter Stormare, Anthony Heald, Chris Bauer, fucking a young Norman Reedus, fucking Kathleen Kinnear, like.
Yeah,
Fuck!
that is a star-studded cast. You're right.
And then for what the film is, a private detective trying to find out whether or not a snuff film is real, and to go through the old urban legend of it, and just fuck.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
I loved it.
Oh, it was a damn good movie, and for the '90s and everything, I even like the cinematography of it. The fact of having like the actual old school style film was a movie, not a talkie.
Yes.
Yes. And the fact that you could keep, or that there was no going off the rails with Nicolas Cage. He was perfect.
Oh yeah,
Yes, he stayed in
As a
character.
newbie getting introduced into this shit.
Yeah, he was completely in character the whole time. And even the twists at the end were their character matching. I mean, the struggles he went through is just.
I mean, you could see the turn, and it was just beautiful to watch.
Yeah, fucking. Written by oh wow, just one person, Andrew Kevin Walker. So fucking great on him, and director of Joel Schumacher. Normally don't get into directors, but he fucking directed the shit out of that. Of course, he had to do some good ones, but he definitely had to have a bad one. And he's got Falling Down. He obviously has 8 He's got Phone Booth, Phantom of the Opera. He also has Batman and Robin.
Joe Schumacher.
Yeah.
Joe Schumacher is responsible for bat nipples.
But
a lot of sick individuals worked on, sick minds worked on putting this together.
I mean, granted, they definitely did this. I thought it was pretty funny the fact that for the guy who played the Machine, otherwise known as, was it George?
Yeah.
Something or other. Motherfucker really had a thing for Danzig.
Yes. But speaking of that character, I loved his monologue at the end. I wasn't abused. I wasn't harmed in any way. I just like doing it.
Yeah, he's just an anomaly. He's not the product, the typical thing of like the product of everything wrong to put him that way. He's just wrong.
So to give you the example that I'm going to use, early today I put in Maddie a tweet that Maddie put out. I said that some people are just shitty. You can be raised right, you can have a loving family, and you can just be shitty.
Well, before we get too into all of that, I will put up this one. We're going to go over what everyone's just general thoughts the films were, so we'll go with you first here.
Again, I like the movie, don't get me wrong, but watching the snuff part was kind of hard to watch. I felt it when he was turning away, and
Mm-hmm.
as the movie progressed, I really wanted his turn when he asked the woman, like, "Give me permission to do this, please. I'm begging you. I
Yeah.
can't do this. Like, give me permission." And he fucking went there and pistol whipped him to death. And then, but you could still clearly see, like, he's shaking, and he's like, "You know what? Just fucking burn it all."
Yeah. All right. Well, any okay, and fuck. I don't know where I'm going with this one because I'm still kind of fucked out of
You're
the whole thing.
still reeling.
Yeah. Angela, opinions of the film, of the movie.
As it is a good film. It is not something you're going to be able to watch more than a couple of times. It
Ain't that the
is a
damn truth?
bit gratuitous. It shows a lot more than it absolutely had to get its point across.
Yeah.
And those parts were a little almost too much. Like almost to the point where you like there were a couple of times that I thought about taking a break.
Went a little bit beyond good taste.
Yeah.
Well, I
And it's
can.
not that it was a bad movie. It was just a lot.
I mean, I can definitely see where they got it from, considering the fact, like I said, the same writer that Andrew Kevin Walker also wrote Seven, and also wrote a screenplay for Tales of the Crypt. He did quite a bit of stuff that tends to be a bit more fucked up. But James, your opinion of the film, of the movie?
Up until, okay, as far as the BDSM aspect, spot on. Loved it. I mean, this was not some repurposed fan fiction wet dream.
Yeah, it wasn't
You
50 Shades of
know,
Grey.
exactly. I mean, this is some of the, granted, the harder element of BDSM. These are the ones that are just like really depraved. You know, as opposed to someone like me, I'm more of a novice.
Well,
I mean,
it's not
it's
always the
just in the
novice.
bedroom.
It's
It's
not
not
your
my
lifestyle.
lifestyle. I don't live that world. I just engage in like recreational marijuana. You know, that's kind of comparison. But anywho, as far as the movie goes, perfect. Nicolas Cage just stayed on it. It was wonderful. It didn't go off the rails.
Well, he
And
didn't go off the
to
rails.
watch him,
Yeah, good.
just to watch him, just you know, he's leading a very vanilla life. I mean, as you can see at the beginning of the film, where him and his wife are, he's been away and he comes back and they're fixing to have some boring vanilla sex. Very loving, caring, intimate BS. Um,
Yep, just straight missionary.
yeah, you know, and then he gets involved in all this other shit,
Mm.
and he is, you can just see not just character change, his character change just subtly, like from the clothes that he's wearing at the beginning of the film, suit and tie to uh,
More sleaze.
sleeveless black shirt and jeans and a hoodie. You know, it. If you watch how it as it progresses from beginning to end, it's these slight little changes. And Joaquin Phoenix said it best: "The devil never changed. You change for him."
Yep.
And that's a great line because I've always, one of my favorite lines I picked up this saying, how far will you go in the pursuit of desire? And that's what this movie is. How far are you willing to go down that rabbit hole?
And well, your opinion of the
Oh
movie?
wow, it's I think that Cage was spot on in the role. I have a hard time thinking of somebody who would have done a better job in that position too. I'm with Angela. I think some parts of it they're a bit more gratuitous than required. Uh, Picked up, you know, it's intended to be disturbing. And if you're interested in watching it, don't buy the stupid thing. Rent it, catch it on a streaming platform. Uh,
I'm not even sure it's available on a streaming platform, so you might have to rent it or find it through the
You're wrong.
perfectly legitimate websites.
It's really not something you're going to want to watch more than one
it
other times.
yeah, if you wanna watch this movie every year or every other year, I have got some serious questions about you, like worse questions than I've got about Frosted. Um, It is well done. One thing that really struck me too is in their processing through this because he's investigating whether the snuff film is real and starts out just digging into how far the rabbit hole goes in the porn market and everything. They did a really good job, I think, of portraying just how brutal and exploitative the market is of women
Yeah.
wanting to get famous, and how destructive it can be.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
I mean, overall, I think well done. I'd forgotten some of the aspects of it, so I was dumb enough to watch it a second time for this review. I don't think I would ever do a third time.
Only way I'm gonna watch this
Yeah.
movie again is it's one of those things like I'm either really good friends with someone or dating someone and they're like, let's go through the Nicolas Cage catalog. And I'm like,
No.
I'm really gonna have to love them for this one. Otherwise, I'm like, we're gonna skip this one. Why? Just fucking trust me.
well, it's
Let's put it this way. You can tell that it was an uncomfortable movie by listening to the background noises right now because Rotn is doing one of his I'm really uncomfortable actions.
Yeah, he's fidgeting with firearms, and I'm pondering it. And
They got fake bullets in them.
And I'm drinking.
well. Let me
Just
start off with this. Oprah Winfrey, she has to have her yearly checkup, so she goes to the gynecologist,
Ew.
and
Why?
they're sitting in her office, or in
talk
his
about a job I
office,
don't want.
and he says, "All right, take off your clothes." So she does. He says, "Well, now crawl over to that wall over there," and she does. Okay. Says, "Now crawl over to the far wall over here," and she does, and goes, "Huh." That, that tells me a lot. He says, she says, "Well, am I okay?" And he says, "No, I was just measuring for a new couch, black couch that's coming on Thursday, so, and deciding on which wall I wanted to put it on."
What a dick. Actually.
You suck.
Now, what does that have to do with anything?
not a damn thing.
Actually, it has plenty to do with it. Because this, you were talking about the porn industry, it has gotten better at some things, you know, and
I mean, it's still got its issues, and it's always going to have its issues, just because
yes, it is.
you're not gonna be able to get through to everything, basically.
Right. But as far as them cutting down on the exploitive, anything that's exploitative now in the U.S. market is stimulated. They have to have an interview reel. They have to have all the paperwork in place, and that is strictly. It's more strict now than what it ever was in the past,
Thank God.
and I am thankful for that. Yes, because things like what you see in this movie probably actually happened.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean,
the snuff portion, I know the old thing's the old urban legend, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised.
Oh no, I wouldn't be surprised, especially not in the context that this places it. Because I mean, let's face it doesn't matter how illegal something is. If you put enough money behind it, somebody's going to be willing to do it.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah. If somebody wants it, they'll find it. That's
money,
crazy.
money talks and bullshit walks.
I mean, there's a reason why we have a dark web, and it isn't because our government oppresses patriots. I mean, it does, but that's not the reason why we have the dark web.
Well, I mean, this is back during that Silk Road time period too. So yeah, the early, late '90s, early 2000s. You know what I'm talking about, Will?
I mean, this is the early time of the computers. That whole thing of being able to like uh, enhance usually is not that good. I mean, granted, it was going from a film instead of like a shitty compressed digital file.
Oh God, that enhanced scene was retarded. I'm sorry.
Okay, enhanced scenes in all movies and TV shows are retarded. Face it.
In 90% of cases, yes.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
the worst one was Eraser with Arnold Schwarzenegger and
Jamie Lee Curtis.
no, Eraser.
Here's the question: how great would this
Vanessa
movie
Williams.
Okay.
Yes,
I'm thinking.
and
I know which
they're
movie.
copying the CD, and it's supposed to take like 45 minutes to burn a CD.
be? Frosted. This definitely would not have worked with uh, the face-off Nicolas Cage, unless it's supposed to be like, shit. Now I'm forgetting his name.
Castor Troy.
Yeah.
No.
How? No.
Travolta's supposed to be playing Cage's character to where he's still himself. Then it'd be a little closer. But that would have really thrown this movie for a loop. So this is just another one of those kind of movies that I'm like, I don't know why people say Nicolas Cage can't act or he's only got the one form of acting. The motherfucker can act.
Yeah.
If you put this movie next to Face Off and you
wouldn't
see
believe
that
it was the same
range of
guy.
performance there, it's kind of like Tony Shalhoub. You know, you watch him in Monk, you watch him in 13 Ghosts, and it's like, damn, this guy can act.
You watch him in fucking Men in Black as
You were saying it. You were saying Angela, or trying to.
Oh no, it's okay. I was just saying you wouldn't believe it was the same guy.
Well, I mean, going just from like from where Face Off to this one, you also have City City of Angels.
Mm-hmm.
In between, completely different character as well.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
Just showing in. Okay, no, it was Snake Eyes was in, but or no, because then you also have him in Snake Eyes, and that like
Which is also a completely
he has very different roles.
That one's a little closer to Face Off.
Yeah.
But even that was different enough that you're like, huh.
I think this falls into the typical thing that happened in the 90s and the early 2000s, or a lot of the 2000s, to where
He got
they tend to typecast people.
like, and he got heavily typecast. You know, his earlier work. He was clearly the asshole friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was his niche. Because again, going through his earlier stuff, hey, you know, if you didn't see him as the asshole, then
Now he hasn't gotten to the point to where he feels the need to steal the Declaration of Independence yet.
yeah.
I figure it's probably in the director's cut.
Since that doesn't happen until that movie doesn't come out until 2004, he's still got a few years before he gets into that phase of his life.
You got to build up to it, and you figure after the rest of this film, I can see where somebody might be tempted to steal the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
Well, you know. But as far as the movie goes, it was a pretty good film.
Yeah.
I mean,
and for being made in 1999, but still being able to, while on screen when they showed the the 8mm film that he's watching, have it show that well as like if you were there watching it. And it's not it's not perfect as if you were there, but it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, but
Tis.
did you know that there's a whole genre of porn that's dedicated to horror?
Not surprised.
Yeah. I mean, it's freaky stuff. But as far as the movie goes, it's not perfect, but it's a good movie. And for the way that Gandalf or James Gandolfini explained the way the was telling his side of things when the girl died as to what you see happen.
Mm.
Even if George, because I'm not calling him the machine. There is only one machine. And
he drinks
not,
vodka and works pussy.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Exactly.
Finish your thought,
And,
James, because I do want to go back to that guy.
okay, and George here, he just in the 8mm shot, he is just going full ham. No, if he loved what he did, you would think he would taken more time, because the way it's shot is he punches her in the face and then he starts slashing.
Well, impulse control. If it's his first time doing that, then
Yeah, and they did show him, like, they didn't show exactly how far it went into it. It was basically he starts slashing once he's cut once. So there was a bit in that.
Probably because it was the goal was to kill her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, he talked real big and bad about how he just did it to do it.
No, he did it because he enjoyed it. The one
Exactly.
guy who watched it because he's never seen it. And by the way, Frosted,
the guy who filmed it was getting a butt ton of money for it.
Frosted, Nicolas Cage doesn't try to solve every problem by stealing the Declaration of Independence. Sometimes he wants to find the person and take their face off.
Huh.
And then sometimes he wants to pistol whip them to death, bury them in a mountain of pornography, and set it on fire.
Or sometimes, he wants to look at him. He has to look at him and tell him to put the bunny down.
Put the bunny back in the box. Why could you? Oh God, he has a terrible Southern accent.
And sometimes he has to.
Sometimes he just has to sit there and be like,
fly around on his problems.
He has to just be there and be like, I could eat a peach for hours.
But that is my biggest complaint about like I said, if the guy was a true sadist,
mm-hmm.
and was big and bad in the way he was speaking, letting his actions talk, I think there would have been more of an. You know
Well,
what I mean?
Well,
all
Say
we know,
bring
this
your
could have been his
meal.
first time.
yeah, from everything
It
we're
could have been,
You know,
but
and
the way it's built up is that he's done it before.
well that he's done it before since then. So you
Yeah,
got to
the
remember for
film in
what
question was 6 years to
a
the
minimum of
current
6 years to the
Yeah.
current time set in the film.
Well,
Right.
you also have
Okay.
the fact that she may have been the only one that he had to kill. He did some pretty heinous shit to people that he didn't kill.
Mm-hmm.
well,
Yeah.
shit.
And
I
he
mean,
was very aware that Nicolas Cage watched a lot of his work, unfortunately. Otherwise, he wouldn't have known it was him.
Oh, I got one better for y'all. Remember, he just casually cuts the California guy cut his neck just casually, as if he were doing it easily. There was no hesitation when he did it. So he's clearly done it before. Since between the time he's done it with the girl and the time
Yeah.
he kills, I believe his name was Max. Sorry, it, the way he does it has changed. Like it's no remorse, no information, no
No
hesitation,
hesitation.
just gone. And then
Yeah.
again, the speech he gives, like I like doing it. I like watching the light leave their eyes. I guess you know.
I'm
But
just an a-hole.
in that whole thing, he said it wasn't the whole it was the surprise upon the first initial stab as the knife's going in. The look on that face, that's what he was looking for. That's what he
Yeah.
loved most.
So maybe
okay.
again, maybe his method it's not necessarily like you said, the slow kill. Like fuck, I don't want to savor it. I just want to see that look of shock, that look of oh my god, it's about to be the fucking end. You know?
Yeah. Once you pass that initial shock, I mean, what's left for him to enjoy?
Yeah.
And people like that struggle with impulse control.
Yep.
Like he's clearly
Okay.
fucked up.
I don't know. But
And one
I've
thing
been
I do
around.
like is they did a really good job too in this movie of all the different kinks and however perverted it was. Everybody had their lines, and he's going through and trying to find who might have done a snuff film, and he's going through all the vanilla, all the extended. You hit the really hard BDSM extremists and everything, and you drop that one little thing, and it's just like criminals in prison. They've got that one line that they're not going to
That you
cross.
don't
It's like these people
cross.
are worse than me. It's why certain criminal aspects don't survive long in Gen Pop. It's like everybody looks down on this group, and you're going through this whole industry, and even the worst of them is like, if that's what you want, if that's what you're looking for, get out of here.
I will say this film did
Like
have one of
Dante's
the
Inferno.
this film had one of or movie had one of the earliest lies I've actually seen in there, and they used it like 3 times. Of the "Are you a cop? Yes, tell me if it's like yes, tell me if you're a cop if I ask." And it's
I
like,
love that.
are you fucking retarded? Like, no, they don't.
Hey,
Like, I don't know who ever spread that rumor of like you have to tell me if you're a cop if I ask. Like, that's not how
probably the
undercover
police.
works. Yeah.
Probably
You
probably
think
the
about it
undercover
as
cop.
Yeah, you think about it, it's probably the cops that spread that notion because it's what's covers their butt so many times when they're undercover and investigating something or trying to do those uh sting operations. Like, hey, if they think, I know, like anything, I'm allowed to lie through my teeth about everything in this investigation. But if they think I have to honestly identify if they ask me if I'm a cop, it only protects me. I think the cops are the ones that spread that rumor.
Well, when the cops go and actually are interrogating you, which he was probably figuring that that was an interrogation. That
Even
they
if they're
do.
interrogating you, they don't, they don't always have to identify. It's more of if they're looking along the lines of, hey, a custodial arrest, uh, some criminal questioning and everything, but a lot of investigation stuff, they don't have to identify, they don't have to Mirandize you, and they
Well, if they're only interrogating you, they don't have to Mirandize you, but
Oh,
like as long as they're not taking you into any type of custody, they don't have to Mirandize you.
Yeah, you're not being arrested, so you're pretty much in the clear. Like
and that's another reason why you don't talk to cops, ladies and gentlemen, is because they can lie to you, and until they have decided.
Well,
That
a lot of cases like where they gotten confessions are kind of legally tenuous because again, just confess to doing this thing and you'll be out of here in no time.
The thing to remember with that is
we're not your friend.
They will not remind you, say, no matter what the law says and no matter what Miranda v. Arizona actually says, they will not Mirandize you until they decide that it is a custodial interrogation and you're under arrest. And it doesn't matter to them if a reasonable person, it matters to the court if a reasonable person would believe they're not free to leave. It doesn't matter to the cops if a reasonable person would believe they're not free to leave. And they will twist and lie every which way.
See, I know we're
sorry, we're getting far afield.
Yeah, it's the whole thing. It's like,
okay,
we can get into the whole thing of like basically, yes, don't talk to police. Basically, anytime it's like if you're pulled over for something, even if they tell you to get out of the vehicle and everything, you can tell them that you're gonna follow your Fifth Amendment right, but also tell them that you're not accepting any searches or seizures, but you're not resisting, and that whole thing. And you can always ask if you're being detained, so that way you can leave.
But yeah, I think the whole notion of if you ask somebody if they're a cop and they're a cop, they have to tell you. I think that was spread by cops because it's just another investigative lie. They're allowed to lie as an investigative tactic. I think that, hey, this covers my butt. This protects me if I'm in the field. And everybody thinks that I have to. If they say, "Are you a cop?" and they think, or 1 or 3 times or whatever the current.
It's either that or it's one of those things where they dealt with police officers that were in like regular clothes, and they were asking a question because like they saw something happen. Like, "What, are you a cop?" And they're like, "Yes, I am."
Yeah.
Like I'm not on duty, and I saw this happen. I trying to help and everything. Oh. Granted, that's a whole other
but
thing.
Yeah, that's you get that whole urban legend out there. Mm-hmm. Are you a cop? Because you have to tell me if you are. Oh, I love seeing it in film. It's because it is how idiots think.
I got a good question for y'all.
Oh no.
I do not need a motorized pocket pussy.
No, that is not it.
Damn.
Have never found myself in a position where that's a need either one time or daily.
What in the world is an everyday situation where you need?
Have no idea.
Angela, if you have to ask, then you need one.
MacGyver would know the answer to that.
Exactly.
James, ask your
question. Yeah, but MacGyver wouldn't use it for self-gratification. He'd use it to get out of some kind of trap situation.
Yeah, never mind.
Go ahead, Angela.
Important question. She wanted me to ask my question. So, anyhow, have you ever looked at a female officer, a cop, and went, "I'd like her to use those handcuffs on me sometime," or something along that lines?
That one cop that got ran.
That just completely.
I'm getting to a point.
It doesn't matter. I'm done.
I'm gonna go back to the whole movie thing. I did think it was pretty funny of the Joaquin Phoenix's character of reading a regular book that looked like he was doing something for college or something or other, and he put a porn cover over it because you don't want to be found out reading regular shit by a bunch of perverts.
That was really a clever input into the movie.
That was a good kick.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
It's not the kids with the dirty magazines hidden in their comic book. It's the guy with the porn cover on the intellectual novel.
Well, to be honest with you, a lot of kink nowadays, and you'll get around some intellectual individuals that just happen to have have their own kinks. It's become more common since then. I mean, all walks of life are starting to go, hey, let's see how far we can defile ourselves.
I'd believe that, but I would still expect, my thought would be that they're not going into a shop like that to have an intellectual conversation about Vonnegut for instance, well, midst shopping or midst purchase.
They're not going in there to talk about Liechtenstein. I get it. They're not discussing the finer points of Bach.
I don't know.
Unless it's on the Bach. In the bussy.
I mean, if you go to Clockwork Orange, what was it? Beethoven's 6th?
5th.
Okay.
Don't do that to Beethoven. Crime. Really is.
Yeah. But how he couldn't enjoy the music anymore because the song made him sick.
Yes.
I still like the joke for Beethoven to where it's in Beethoven's grave they were hearing the music that he composed and everything, and then but it was all being played from newest to oldest, and someone one day came up to the graveyard keeper and was just like, hey, what's going on with that? It's like, what's going on? Why are we hearing all this music and why does it seem so weird and seem like it's going from newest to oldest? And like, yeah, that's Beethoven back there. He's decomposing.
Boom.
Well, I've got good news and I've got bad news.
Can we get the news first?
Good news is my phone is overheating.
Okay.
The bad news is I gotta go.
You ain't gotta. I know.
Yeah, unless I want to lose my phone.
Hey, yeah, unless he wants to lose his phone or worse, and let me tell you, house fires, not even once if you can avoid it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Good night, babe.
But anyhow,
take it easy,
James.
James.
Sweet dreams. Glad y'all got to see me.
Yeah,
I'm out.
Yeah.
Bye.
Night.
Classic lines from the movie. I don't even remember the guy's name now. But it's like, I will never get tired of hurting you.
That was Cage.
And you yeah, no, Cage speaking to Eddie. It's like, I will never get tired of hurting you, Eddie. And I'm thinking, like, as is right and just, and you never should.
Getting a little into this.
Yeah.
I will still say this. Peter Stormare. Like, that dude can also act. And good God, can he play a fucking villain?
Yes.
Let me think. He got this one. He's been in like Bad Boys 2. He played the fucking devil in Constantine. Memory serves me correctly.
Yes.
Is that where the face looked familiar?
Uh-huh.
He was in one of the movies where you had to go to space to save the world.
Armageddon.
Oh, you talking about Armageddon?
One. Was it Armageddon where he was the guy that was on the space station?
He was a Russian
Probably.
cosmonaut in Armageddon.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm like going, it's one of those two. I can't remember which one it was.
Gonna close my
But
eyes.
he was the crazy ass cosmonaut on the space station.
Oh, that was genius acting.
Yes.
Russian parts, US parts, all made in Taiwan.
All made in Taiwan.
Oh, tried to breathe water again. Not on purpose.
Has anybody ever seen George Higgins play somebody who was not batshit insane?
I don't
Or
know, I'm
Chris,
gonna have to look at
Chris
his
Bauer, the guy that played George Higgins.
Yeah, when he plays Andy Bellafour on True Blood. Because he plays
Yeah, Andy Belfleur was a little bit nuts.
a little bit, but not super nuts.
Not batshit crazy. You're right. I'll give you that. Because aside from that, everything that I've seen him in,
I haven't seen
he's completely
Tomorrowland,
insane.
so I
He
don't
was
know about
just
that.
we just saw him in Face Off.
I want to take his face. Sorry.
He was the guy that ended up helping him escape prison.
I don't remember.
And then he was in an episode of Criminal Minds where he thought that the government had implanted some kind of
Well, I mean, apparently he's also in Devil's Advocate, so
brain chip in himself.
he probably didn't
Or
play
in it.
batshit insane in Fools Rush In, though I haven't seen it.
Probably not. You're probably right. I didn't know he was in that.
I don't think he has a big role. I will still say though they for this movie they definitely in some cases overshowed a little bit in certain things, but also cut off in the right spots too. So like for the portion of
cut
the
off
snuff,
just a little bit after the right spot, but they could have made it much worse.
Oh yes,
They really could have. There were at least a couple of times where I think they missed the mark where it should have been. Like we didn't really need that much, you know?
Mm-hmm. Like we probably didn't need to see that much of the lead up to the death and then like the aftermath really of like just seeing the back of George for the snuff film, but it had to be shown that it wasn't just a, okay, here's the girl, come up, smack her and stab her and start slashing. Like there was more build up. It's just they didn't dwell a lot on it because it wasn't needed to be seen.
I do like how long Dale got the arrow in the throat, and the guy got shot.
No, he didn't get it in the throat. He got it in the chest.
Oh,
yeah, the shot was to the throat.
Yeah,
so it was reactive shot to getting hit with a crossbow bolt.
Yeah,
with a broadhead on it.
And I really wish he would have got Nicolas Cage, but hey, it is what it is.
Well,
they took each other out.
That'd have been a little too early for that whole thing. Because I mean, that was what Cage did, was basically go through and bring up the whole thing of how, fucking Lawndale fucked him over. And Anthony Heald, the one who played Lawndale, that man is ridiculous at his acting range. I don't know if y'all have seen some of the weird shit he's doing, because I remember he's been in like Deep Rising, Red Dragon, Silence of the Lambs, X-Men.
He was in X-Men?
Yeah, he was in
Oh
Last
yeah,
Stand. He was Mystique's interrogator.
yeah.
Wait, which one?
The lawyer.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now I know. Because I knew I saw him in a whole bunch of shit. I just couldn't remember what.
Yeah, because the year earlier he was in the movie Deep Rising, and that was a weird ass movie. Scott the Kraken.
Deep Rising wasn't a weird ass movie. It was just a movie where a shark fucking eats Samuel L. Jackson. No, that's
That's
not
Deep
deep.
Blue
That's deep.
Sea.
Blue.
A
Deep
motherfucking
Rising is the
shark
one with
ate me.
that's the one with the goddamn Titanic with the Eldritch Abominations.
Yes.
There it is. All
Well,
right.
it's a single Eldritch Abomination.
Nah, it was a whole. Was it a single?
Yes, it was one that could still eat through its arms.
All right. And I love how at the end the guy fires the one shot and misses, and it's his last round, and he couldn't kill himself, so he gets eaten. That's how the big bad gets. Well, not the monster, but the big bad gets taken out of that shit.
Well, if you're talking about Anthony Heald's character in that one, it's he tries to get into the person's boat and then ends up having shit fall onto it.
No, no, no. The leader of the mercenary group, actually, will.
Well, that's a common trope. That was like in the second Resident Evil movie, to where the guy shoots like three zombies, and then at the end of the film, and then goes to shoot himself, but he can't because even though it's out of the gun's out of bullets, the slide didn't lock back. At least they don't do the one thing like I've seen before, to where the slide gets locked back, and they'll still do the whole thing as if it's cycling the fucking trigger or the hammer, because it's a double action pistol.
Choke on it.
Click, 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 click,
Yeah.
click. Don't work that way.
But
You guys and your guns.
well, I like the realism of it, and I do like the fact that for this one they didn't have a whole lot of guns. They only had a few. The funny part is the fact that the gun Cage had the entire time was actually a non-gun. Is a fake.
Yeah. I understood what you meant.
In that whole thing, because like quite literally all they had was 4 firearms in it that were used. Cage's 230. What's his name? Eddie's 226, and obviously the 32 ACP. I know Dahoon or whatever, I can't remember his name, was asking. He's like, "Oh, that was pretty good for like a 25 or a 32." It's like, that one's a 32. I can tell by the. It's like, one, I already knew that, but I could also tell by the rear sight.
Choke on it.
We're not talking about Dawn of the Dead.
Sorry.
Okay, anything else about this movie?
Again, it was a good movie.
Oh, apparently Russell Crowe was originally supposed to be in this film.
As what?
He was supposed to be in it when that was originally slated to be a dirty, handheld, gritty thriller. Crowe had one stipulation to all this, and it was a scene where his character is looking at the kiddie porn and throws in the trash and throws a cigarette in it so it would start burning inside the trash can. Schumacher agreed. Then out of the blue, Nicolas Cage's agent called Schumacher and told him that he wanted to do the film as well. Schumacher contracted John Kelly at Sony and told him we can do the film with Crowe's low-budget, dirty, handheld camera thriller, or a much bigger film with Cage. Apparently, they decided to do the film with Cage, so it would eventually lead to a bigger budget. So apparently, at that point, Russell Crowe was not that big in the 90s.
Well, it sucked to be him in the 90s.
My nose. But yeah, there are just a lot of faces in this movie.
Oh, and apparently in the German version, there was a 9 seconds more of Eddie getting the shit kicked out of him by Tom.
Wow, whole 9
Hey, I
seconds.
didn't need more time. That's that.
I still will say, for seeing Norman Reedus in there, it's like, wow, he was fucking young.
So I was like, oh my god, it's baby Norman.
I am so used to seeing him, because what I've seen him in the most is Boondock Saints.
Yeah.
That's like basically kind of a yearly watch for me.
Even that, he looks young, but not as young as he did in this.
Yeah.
Baby Reedus.
And seriously, this, I still say it's like films like this definitely showed the acting range of all of the actors and actresses. Because like you got Miss Christian getting to basically go through the whole thing of she was a loyal wife, never questioned her husband, and that whole thing. Then to find out that basically he contracted a film because he's a
He was a
monster.
fucking monster. And that's what he was. He was a fucking monster.
He was a monster and he got away with it because she just turned her eye away from what wasn't pretty.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then Amy Morton, who played Mary's mom, she had to show some emotion in that one. Like there were scenes in this movie that just fucking rough.
Yes.
And more than just the like, oh, this is the stuff portion of it. There's some other ones, like quite literally, like watching her in that whole thing with Nicolas Cage being like, I can hurt them. Tell me you want me to hurt them. You want me to take care of this. Basically after finding out that all this hope she had to find out her daughter's dead.
Right.
Middle of the night, get a call. Hey, you're me and that whole thing. Oh yeah, you found my daughter's diary. Thank you. Are you sure you really want to know the truth? Well, of course I do. I'm so sorry. Your daughter's dead. She was murdered. I can take care of the guys who did this.
I need you to tell me it's okay.
I need you to tell me it's okay. And I was not expecting his wife to still be there at the end.
No, I wasn't either.
I actually was. I was very much aware. Like just looking at her body language, that it was momentary anger and frustration. Along with checking to see if this was actually important enough for him to make that decision.
Yeah, women, if your man says this is something I really have to do, and you say I might not be here when you get back, and they're still, yeah, I really have to do this. No one else can. Don't just walk out. Think about it. Take it seriously because he's taking it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I always hated that ultimatum. That ultimatum, when you got your husband is like a cop or whatnot, and like this is something I got to do. Well, if you do this, don't expect me to be here waiting for you. Like that makes no fucking sense. You knew the type of person he was when you married him, and if he's saying he had to do this, yeah, that threat just always pisses me the fuck off.
I definitely will say with the whole thing of if you don't or if you dance the devil don't change. The devil changes you. Like you definitely got to see how everything changed. Like how basically every character had their change they were going through.
How monsters are born.
Mm-hmm. And I still will say, like, that whole thing, or before he ends up talking to, shit, I know it's Max, but that fucking goddamn soundtrack. I was like, who the fuck chose this?
Hmm.
That was a weird ass
A
fucking
lot of the
soundtrack.
music was ridiculous.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of the music was just. You had like the weird Middle Eastern music during that one part.
Yeah.
And the crazy bossa nova hip hop mashup during that other part. Where it's like, am I on the streets in Brazil right now?
Hmm.
Just really weird choice of music.
Yes.
And this is definitely a movie that you can rewatch, but it's not an often. It's like a once a decade type thing to be like, yep, this movie still bugs me. I still feel sane.
Huh?
Don't think I have no plans to ever watch this again, like I said.
Neither do I. I'm gonna go and join a monastery and pray, because yeah.
I also say I just think it's pretty funny the fact that, the guy who played Eddie is also the guy who ends up playing Tony Soprano.
I. Yeah.
I mean, granted, he's now deceased. He's been deceased apparently since 2013.
James Gandolfini? Really?
Yep.
Oh yeah, James Gandolfini's been dead for a while.
And I still have no desire to watch The Sopranos. I know that probably irritates some people that I've talked to because it's like, I don't care enough. It's the same thing with
I haven't seen The Sopranos either. So
it's the same thing with the Godfather movies. Like, I know I've seen bits and pieces of them, but I have no desire to actually go out and sit down and watch them in full. I just don't care. So do we have anything else to say about the movie?
Nope.
Good movie, only watch it once. If you watch it more than once, don't tell me. I don't want to know you're that freak.
Say, think about it seriously before you do watch it, because it is going to challenge you.
And this is also
And if you watch the whole thing and don't find any part of it disturbing, don't tell me.
You should probably seek
Or
professional.
tell me, or expect me not to talk to you anymore if you do tell me.
Yeah, seek professional counseling and assistance if you watch this movie and no part of it disturbs you.
Well, we already know James is mentally disturbed, so
I mean, so is Frosted, so he might go through the whole
Frosted
thing with
might
it.
go. This might be a comedy to Frosted.
I will say this.
I don't know. It's not Jews or blacks getting slaughtered, so I'm not sure that Frost is going to be completely.
Well, I will say this one though. This is definitely not a date night movie.
Nope.
Yeah, if this is your idea of a date night movie, you need an inpatient stay at the asylum.
And if she's down with it, or he, depending on which gender, who you date, let's put it that way.
And if they're trying to get freaky during it,
they need an inpatient stay to different asylum.
Keep a taser on you. No! Hell is wrong with you? God, that just...
a time when you actually do want to have roofies around, just in self-defense. Yeah, if you want to get frisky during this movie, yeah, let me just a minute. Let me go get some fresh drinks. I'll be right back.
and then just start running.
Run.
Well, I figure give them the spiked drink first, and as soon as they get drowsy, start running. You don't want them fresh and ready to chase
Well,
you.
hold on. Well, you can't run. So what are you talking about?
All the more reason to spike the drink.
This was just.
You can whirl away fast.
If I give them the spiked drink and wait 30 minutes, I can hobble and they will never catch me.
Will's gonna run straight to the panic room and lock the door. They'll never get me in here. And by panic room, broom closet.
I think we're gonna call it from there. This was definitely just a. This was an out there movie.
This was hereditary.
Well, I'm going to throw one more thing out there, because when you hit the end of the movie and you run into exactly how he's dealing with the situation that's run into him, and that can be a challenge for your way of thinking too, and how you would deal with the situation. If you found yourself, heaven forbid, in any kind of situation, these are some serious personal challenging circumstances. Like, wow, really make you think. You may want to drink after the movie. Don't drink before watching the movie. You'll want your brain intact to think about it.
You might want to have one drink before the movie just so that you go in calm.
You might want to have one drink during the movie just so you don't get uncalm.
And then the end of the movie, if you want to bang your head into the wall, you probably in the right location.
Yeah, well, if you wanna bang your head in the movie or in the wall at the end of the movie, just try and pick a spot that you're not going to punch holes in the wall.
All right, this is what you need. This is what you need to get through this movie. You need three things: some drinks, some rosary beads, and a nice spot on the wall you can bang your head against at the end. And the shower. 4.
Yeah, followed by a long, scaldingly hot shower.
And a Brillo pad, because you really got to scrub the whatever this is off you.
Yeah, you definitely want to get some something that'll help you exfoliate.
Maybe even sandpaper.
Just drop with the sandpaper.
Granted, I will, like I said though, for how fucked up a movie it was, and that whole thing, like they fucking played their parts well.
Yes, everybody was perfect characters.
Like I said, you can fucking yell at Joe Schumacher for fucking Batman and Robin and that whole thing, and you have every right to. But on the right films, the motherfucker can direct.
Mm-hmm.
And he got these people to bring their A game, in my opinion.
Yeah, everybody was in character 100% of the time and spot on for the character.
Well, I mean, the kid who played the baby, I don't know how well their acting was. I'm just fucking around on that one. You could critique their acting because they're just being there.
You didn't know that person was like a major method actor, is actually like a 32-year-old male. The 32-year-old black male playing a white baby girl.
Yeah, wow.
And pulling it off.
Oh God.
Amazing.
But yeah, like this is definitely like a one-time watch, and it's one of those things that I almost would have to say you kind of don't want to have to watch alone. Like basically, you got to watch this with someone else. So you're like, okay, we're gonna watch this, and then we're gonna fucking deal with it, and probably have to go smoke half a pack of cigarettes apiece.
You want to watch it with someone? You want to watch it with someone you trust? You want to watch it with someone who enjoys serious, bordering on artistic film?
Yeah, this is gonna be one of the ones where you probably want to watch it with someone who's like, I don't watch movies. I watch films.
Films. Yeah.
And then, yeah, even if you're not a smoker, you might need to mix your alcohol with half a pack of cigarettes anyway to
Okay,
really.
this isn't okay. Would beat you with that. It's like, yes, this is not a date movie because this is not a movie that you're gonna go with and like to try to hook up with your girlfriend or your other person or whatnot. It's like the person you're with. This is something that's like you're gonna watch with like a friend or a couple of friends to be like, okay, we kind of want to hate. It's like if we're gonna go, it's like if I'm gonna go through this, I need to watch this with someone else who I can like have a legitimate discussion with this about.
Yeah, somebody you can have an intelligent discussion with, or just a small huddle of stuttering,
Prayer.
quiet weeping, prayer.
Or if you can, put the subject matter aside and just talk about the cinematography of it or something.
Yeah, if you can put the subject matter aside and just talk about the cinematography, you're probably also kind of psycho that I don't want to be that geographically close to.
That are like the only other real reason to watch this is like I said, the whole thing of like seeing the actual actors' range of what they're capable of doing. But on that, I think we're gonna call it. It's been over an hour. We didn't go too far off this movie
Not too
for the
far.
topic.
Yeah.
But
Somebody please send kitten videos. That.
go. This is one of those things where it's like definitely go look up Kefke's Twitter after this,
Yes.
or like the next 6 minutes, because they tend to do post stuff like
All
that.
that stuff.
But next week we will have a Talking in the Void, and after that we are probably going to be doing Bringing Out the Dead. And if that movie is as dark as it's supposed to be, since it's supposed to be haunted by patients he's failed to save, a monumentally burned out Manhattan ambulance paramedic fights and to maintain his sanity over 3 increasingly turbulent nights, we're probably going to do something else that's not Nicolas Cage for a bit. Or it's like at least for a movie.
I actually would really appreciate that.
Because let's double check in, because after... Oh, actually, no. The one after that wouldn't be too bad, because the next movie after Bringing Out the Dead is the remake of Gone in 60 Seconds. Or is the Nicolas Cage Gone in 60 Seconds? So that's not too bad.
Cool.
So any parting? I don't know.
Go to the movies.
Prayer.
Hug a loved one and be glad they're there.
Yes.
Go to the movies. Do not watch a movie like this in the theater. You need to watch it with someone, but you do not need to watch it with a room full of strangers.
We're in Lent. Spend a night in prayer. Can't hurt.
That is my plan, actually. But,
Oh. Have a good week. Hopefully you can get your tags done and everything. So we are gonna get out of here. For everyone who showed up, thanks for showing. I completely forgot to post anything about the GoFundMe's for like Moonshock, Angela, and James. They're online somewhere.
If you go to one of my if you go to one of my streams, you'll find them in the pinned comments or in the description. So they're there.
So we are out of here, folks. Have a good work week.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good night, everybody.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Join us again next week, or you can check out the other people in the panel in the description and see us again plausibly on one of their channels, or just check out what work they've done. Have a good week, everyone.